The year is 476 AD. A teenage emperor kneels in a Roman palace. His name is Romulus Augustulus, and in minutes he will no longer be emperor of anything. A Germanic warlord named Odoacer walks in and takes the crown. No battle, no last stand. Just a boy handing over the most powerful symbol in the Western world. Historians will call this the death of Rome. But here is the thing. Rome did not die that day. Someone made sure of it. There was already another Rome. It had been running in parallel for over 150 years. Its emperor was richer, its army was unbroken, and its city had never fallen to a single barbarian. And this Rome would outlast the original by nearly 1,000 years. But here is what every Western history textbook gets wrong about this. They call it something else entirely. They call it the Byzantine Empire. The people who lived there never used that name, not once. They called themselves Romans. They called their emperor Caesar. They called their capital the New Rome, and they meant every word of it. The story of Rome's death is one of the greatest sleights of hand in all of recorded history. Let's go back about 150 years before Romulus Augustulus knelt on that floor. The Roman Empire is already stretched beyond anything one city can manage. Emperor Diocletian sees the cracks forming. He splits the empire in two, east and west, each with its own ruler. This is not a collapse. This is a planned restructuring. Then comes Constantine. In 330 AD, he consecrates a new capital on the Bosphorus. He names it after himself, Constantinople. He moves there and never looks back. The center of Roman power has already shifted before most people in the West even notice. When the western half crumbles under pressure from migrating peoples and internal rot, the eastern half watches, adapts, and endures. It does not consider itself a fragment. It considers itself the continuation, and by every legal, political, and cultural measure of the time, it was right. So why has almost no one heard this story told this way? The empire that continued called itself Roman, governed by Roman law, crowned by Roman ceremony, and defended by Roman military traditions. Its spoken language shifted from Latin to Greek over centuries, but language does not make a nation. Rome itself had always absorbed other languages, other gods, other peoples. That was the entire point of Rome. Emperor Justinian I proves this beyond any doubt. In the 530 S, he launches a campaign to retake the western lands. He reconquers North Africa. He takes Italy back from the Ostrogoths, a Roman emperor ruling from Constantinople, walking into Rome and claiming it as his own. Not as a conqueror, as the rightful owner coming home. And then he does something even more lasting. He commissions a complete rewrite of Roman law. The Codex Justinianus becomes the legal foundation for nearly every European nation that follows. French law, Spanish law, Italian law. The legal DNA of the modern world runs through a document written by a man the textbooks call Byzantine. He was Roman. They were always Roman. Here is the number that should stop you cold. The Western Roman Empire lasted roughly 500 years. The Eastern Roman Empire, the one we call Byzantine, lasted until 1453. That is nearly 1100 years of continuous Roman governance from a single city. The fall of Rome was not the end of Rome. It was barely the halfway point. During the centuries that Western Europe calls the Dark Ages, Constantinople is a city of 500,000 people. Its libraries hold the complete works of ancient Greek philosophers that no one in Western Europe can even read. Its trade routes connect China to Venice. Its Greek fire burns enemy fleets at sea. Its walls hold against siege after siege for 1,000 years. Think about what that means. While Western Europe is rebuilding from rubble, Rome's successor is preserving everything. And then, something shifts. The walls of Constantinople finally fall in 1453 to the Ottoman Sultan Mehmed II. The last Roman emperor, Constantine II, dies fighting on the walls. But even this ending is not quite an ending. The scholars who flee Constantinople carry manuscripts west, Greek philosophy, Roman science, classical art theory. They flood into Italy. Within decades, something extraordinary ignites. We call it the Renaissance. The rebirth of classical knowledge in the West was not a rediscovery. It was a rescue operation carried out by the last Romans. And Rome's inheritance does not stop there. Ivan III of Russia marries the niece of the last Byzantine emperor. He adopts the double-headed Roman eagle. He declares Moscow the Third Rome. The Roman succession passes east again into a new empire that will endure into the 20th century. The empire did not fall. It changed address. It changed language. And each time it seemed to end, it seeded the next civilization with everything it had built. A man named Constantine Palaiologos stood on a wall and knew he was the last. The city behind him had stood 1,000 years. No reinforcements were coming. No deal could be made. He took off his imperial regalia so no one would recognize him. He walked into the breach with his soldiers. He was never seen again. That is how Rome ended, not with a boy handing over a crown in 476, but with an emperor choosing to die as a soldier in 1453. The empire you were taught to mourn in one sentence of a textbook kept going for 1,000 years after that sentence was written. Its laws shaped your legal system. Its religion shaped your civilization. Its scholars gave you the Renaissance. Rome did not fall. It changed its name and outlived everyone who said it was dead. Which successor do you think carried Rome's true legacy? Byzantium, the Orthodox Church, or the scholars who sparked the Renaissance? Tell us below. And if this is the kind of history no one ever taught you, subscribe. We are just getting started.